My question is, why do men very often seem to think about themselves and their own well-being first, while women are mostly putting their loved ones first, often making more compromises, if not sacrifices, for their loved ones? Oh, Samantha, got some truth bombs for you today. In this video, I'm going to answer why men so often seem to be, or in fact very much do, put themselves first, what's really going on there, and what you can do about it. Hit the subscribe button with the little bell so you get the notifications, and I'll see you on the other side of this. So there's one of three possibilities happening here when you think a man is always putting himself first, especially over you or the family. One of three possibilities. I'm going to explain each of them and what to do in each one. Possibility number one, his love is getting lost in translation. So men, not just from culture, but even their core brain biology. They are designed, men are literally built to serve you, right? Men fight wars, they go into broken buildings, they say, get the women and the children out first. Men are literally the expendable pieces of society that serve as a defense to protect the women and the children. And often men go too far into that definition, and out of love, they work hard, they sacrifice themselves, and they genuinely see never being home and working on the business and not being able to have time with the family. They genuinely feel that or see that as loving because they say, I'm serving. What is the point of my purpose as a man if I'm not even serving my loved ones, if I'm not working hard for them? So a lot of men can love in this way, and a lot of women can get lost in translation with receiving this love. So what to do about this? It's really important you bring it up. First, honor and appreciate him for the work he's doing and the love that he's giving, and then give your feelings and see if he's open to a course correct on how that can be more connecting. So for example, you might say, babe, I just want to say, I appreciate so much the work that you do. You work so hard for our family, and I want you to know how much I recognize that and how grateful I am for it. At the same time, I want to be really open with you and just be totally honest. Is that okay? And I just want to say that, I do feel sad and upset when you stay at late work and we don't get to spend quality time together. And it would mean so much to me if we could have some quality time, if you could schedule that in throughout the week. Would that be something you're open to? And hopefully at that point, he comes to meet you, and that love that he's trying to provide by sacrificing and giving himself to work all the time or doing some kind of other service-based love language, hopefully he gets the message that that's missing with you, and he can course correct to better understand your love language. The second possibility is not that he's putting himself first, but that he is putting purpose before you. So a man, especially a man in his young to middle age who's setting up his life, who's following his purpose, you will often find that he puts his purpose first and relationships take a back seat. That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? That's just how, again, men are built. But you've got to do a couple of, again, course corrections to see if you can be with this man. The best way to probably give you an example is to share with myself. Right? My passion and purpose is helping get women into empowering relationships, the type that very few of us get to experience, because I believe that in doing so, we remove cruelty from the world. Because a human being who feels genuinely loved for who they are, they're just not cruel to others, they're not cruel to animals, they're not cruel to the planet. Right? That is my purpose. That is the reason why I am here. That is why I do make him yours. And my partner, I love her to death. She's amazing. She's the best woman I've ever dated. The relationship is the highest quality I've ever dated, the healthiest, blah, 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 right? If she came to me tomorrow and said, hey, Mark, it's me or the business. I don't agree with what you're doing. I would say, I choose the business. And that's not because I don't value her, but that's because purpose has to come first, right? I value her enough to say that, hey, if you are so out of alignment with who I am as a man, then you're going to find far more happiness with someone else than you ever will with me, right? If a woman isn't aligned with who I am and my purpose as a man, then she is the wrong woman. Doesn't mean I don't value her. I value her enough to let her go. So you will get men who, to varying degrees, put purpose first. And so what to do about this? You then have to decide, number one, very important, do you support his purpose? Right, first of all, does he have one? But assuming he has one, do you support it? Because if you don't support it, he's going to be the wrong guy for you, period. He will always choose purpose over you. Or choose you resentfully. Either way is terrible. And number two, if you do support that purpose, Does he have enough time, and is he willing to make enough time to balance those two out? Right? Obviously, nothing is 100%. I'm not following my purpose when I'm on the damn toilet, right? Going to the toilet comes first. So it's about finding a balance. And every man has to decide what his balance is. I've found a balance that works for me in my relationship. The man that you're with will have to find a balance that works for him, and then you have to decide if that balance works for you. Now, of course, you can set boundaries if it doesn't, and by all means, if it's not working for you, set a boundary, right? And the man will decide if he wants to choose to have that balance with you, or if he says, no, purpose is too important right now. But just be aware, that's not him devaluing you necessarily. That's just a man who has to be in line with his purpose. Do with that information what you will. Then there's number 3. And number 3 is when you get caught in a trap of a man who really is putting himself first in a way that's selfish and not serving to you. The best metaphor I like to use for this is someone who's drowning, right? If you've ever heard of when you're trying to save someone who's drowning in a pool or in the surf, if they're flailing around, right, they will often drag you down to save themselves. And this is where you can run into trouble with men. If you meet a man in his life whose self-esteem is failing, who doesn't have a purpose, he's feeling purposeless, who he's drowning and scared or covering up with addictions, whatever it is, this is where very often you as a woman can get used. You might find that you are the pseudo-girlfriend for a year until he decides, oh, do you know what? I don't need you anymore. I'm going to go on to the one I'm committing to. You might find a wounded man uses you as a girlfriend until, oh, I'm feeling better right now, I can move on. You might find a man with a wife, cheats on that wife with you, and he does that to heal that wound, to get the validation from outside, but he's really kind of using you because he's flailing in the water, he's flailing in his marriage, and he's looking for the step up. So this is where it's really, really important you set boundaries and create a balanced relationship where your needs are met too. Now, if you are regularly speaking up on your needs, if you are sharing who you are, and if you are testing this relationship in a good way, because just by being yourself, there'll be natural tests in this relationship. If you're doing all these things and setting healthy boundaries, you won't run into this problem. You may still run into men who have a different love language in terms of acts of service. You may still run into men who put purpose first, and you and he will have to decide if there's a balance you can work out there or not. But if you are truly speaking up, if you're truly holding your boundaries, if you're truly valuing yourself, you're not going to end up in a relationship with a man who is insecure and drowning. Those types of men just aren't attracted to strong boundaryful women. So that's what to do in each of these situations. As I say, if you are in that third category and if you are finding that you are the self-sacrificial person, then that's because that's something you've been comfortable with. I've been doing a lot of videos about receiving lately, and you got to step up your receiving and step down the fear-giving to shift that dynamic and to become acclimatized to a new level of relationship, a new level of healthiness in your life. Hopefully that gives you some real insight into men, what's going on for us, why we sometimes do put ourselves first, or why sometimes you might perceive it that way, and some tools with what to do about it. So if it did, post in the comments section below with your thoughts and pop your questions in with hashtag AskMark as well. Don't forget my book is now available, 300 plus pages of modern dating goodness, simple stuff for you to follow and be more authentic and brave in your dating. So make sure you grab a copy of that. Hit the subscribe button with the little bell so you get all future videos, and I will see you in the next one very soon.